Welcome back to World Sim Series racing action, and we're on our way to round 2 of the championship, the World Sim Series F4 Championship from Mugello. Standings after round 1, it's Gavars at the top of the pro class, ahead of Mendeles and Talianos. Pro-Am is led by Jofert, ahead of Rybatsky and Kirkis. And Am is led by Schmidt, ahead of Niskanen and Ojunas. Those are your top threes for each of the classes as we go into the qualifying session here. 4.5 minutes to go, so half of the qualifying session already done. An Am car of Gamberini leads the field by almost 0.4 of a second, so huge gap at the front. Then comes Talianos, Bernini, and Pugliatti in P4, another Am car. I'm sure these guys will be looking to get an upgrade up to Pro Plus soon if they keep up the pace like this. Remember last time we saw a big strategical battle, who changed tires and who didn't. It was quicker to not change tires, but this is a much different circuit. A lot of wear on the left-hand side tires. So we'll see what the drivers choose as their strategy here today. And I'm joined, as always, by Laurinas.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this second round of the Formula 4 cars on World Sim Series platform. 30 minutes of racing action with one mandatory pit stop, which brings out the importance of strategic thinking. And as Gustas already mentioned, we've seen different strategies 2 weeks ago, and well, the driver who didn't seem to be the fastest one at the beginning managed to win the race without changing the tires, just cruising around the Spa circuit at a very nice pace. It was Gavars at that race. This time he's currently 5th in the qualifying session, and we have two Am drivers from Italia, that's Gamberini and Pugliatti. These two drivers were the fastest ones in the pre-qualifying session. They were the fastest ones in the 3-minute long practice session before this qualifying. So I think we'll have some surprises here in this race, and well, Gustas mentioned it quite greatly. I think these drivers will be promoted not only to Pro-Ams, but maybe even to Pro Plus class, straight to the top. If you are fast enough to battle out the Pro Plus drivers and you are still an M driver, I think you have all the rights to become a Pro Plus driver. So qualifying session, 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. 1 minute 45.0 is the fastest lap time. We've seen 1:44.7 in the pre-qualifying round, which means the drivers are still, well, rubbering in the racetrack, making it a little bit faster. We don't see the fastest lap times yet.
Yep, I'm sure we'll see some kind of an improvement still. Although the guys at the top do look very good. Even with an improvement from Talianos, there's still a 10th between him and pole position, but that puts him on to the front row of the grid. Pugliatti still with a 45.5. We saw a purple sector from him in the beginning just a few minutes ago, but I don't think he's got that now. Probably drivers also finding some space on the track, getting a bit more confidence once they've gotten their first laps completed. Especially for the ones in the lead.
I think a lot of the drivers are still on an outlap. We don't have that information, but I've seen a lot of drivers getting out of the pit lane. So I think we have light cars and fresh rubber on the cars. Gavars, our last round winner, just set his personal middle sector, so maybe he's looking at an improvement, 1:45.6. He needs to find quite a lot of time on this racetrack if he wants to start on pole position. more than 6/10. Well, 6/10 is required from Gavars to take the provisional pole position. Bernini back into the pit lane. His qualifying session is over. He's currently third, but I think we'll see some improvements on the racetrack as Gavras completes the last corner and crosses the line, goes faster, but only by 0.03 of a second, which is not enough for an improvement.
Yep, and last round's winner, last round's pole sitter as well. Struggling in this qualifying session right now. This is still the man at the top of the standings. Hoping that there isn't an improvement from behind. Maybe he can find something still.
Pugliatti back in the pits.
That chicane. So not gonna be better than fourth. Can anything change at the top? We've still got P2 and P3 out on track. They could be running something behind. Can Gamberini improve? He does by the tiniest of margins, another 0.03 of a second better, but this is the driver closest to him, 45.182, his quickest lap time so far. Can he find anything more? Can he find that pole position? No, not enough. Fastest in the final sector, but that's not good enough to go to pole.
So
it will be.
Bernini is still on the racetrack. Gavras is also running, and he's right behind of Bernini, but I think Gavras has already finished his lap time. So has Bernini. He's turns straight into the pit lane to finish off his qualifying session, and that's about it. The qualifying session has been completed. We can go through the results screen quickly.
Yep, and as we said, Gamberini at the top and takes pole position in AM as well. Then comes Talianos and Bernini for second and third overall, and first and second in Pro Plus. Then comes Pugliatti with P2 in AM, and Gavars P3 in Pro Plus. Rybatsky is 7th overall and leads Pro-Am ahead of Jofert and Sarma, who are 2nd and 3rd in class, 9th and 10th overall. And P3 and Am is Smid with 11th position overall, but I think we can be almost sure that Gamberini and Pugliatti will get that upgrade to Pro Plus, so I think this is going to be a pretty straight battle for position at the front as we get ready to go for the second round of the season. New championship here on World Sim Series. Haven't seen open wheelers in a while, and it's nice to have these close battles.
I don't see Gamberini. He's on the grid. Oh, okay, he's in front. The timing table, as usually, sometimes plays game with us. He's on the left side of your screens, and Talianos is on the right side.
Yep, that front row getting ready to go to long run down into turn one. So expect opportunities for overtakes from further behind. We saw changes at Spa. Will we see changes here? And away we go, and it's a difficult start from Talianos. He's under pressure from Bernini, and I think they're going to come in side by side as everybody fans out. We're 4, 5 wide, 6 wide, I think, in the background as they run down into turn one. I think Talianos just about held on. No, he didn't. He's side by side with Bernini into these chicanes, and I think Bernini's got the position. Has he? Well, still not. But now Talianos has got the trouble of Pugliatti there as well, who moves up into the podium spots. So Talianos from second down to fourth. Gavras in P6 as Rybatsky moves up to fifth. And that puts him very much clear in Pro-Am. He was only 2 spots above Jofert, who was second in Pro-Am, but he's moved up well from 7th up to 5th, and he's actually the only one. Well, actually, P is on mediums in P10, so 2 cars on mediums in the top 10. As Rybatsky now trying to go down the inside, trying to use the better grip of that medium tire, but we kind of know then that he'll have to make a tire change. These front ones probably not, and seeing how that was the preferred and faster strategy during race 1. I think that's the way it's going to go here, but we'll see if Rybatsky can maybe pull something out. He's done well to gain positions. Can he gain enough time as well? Here comes Asp to the outside of Jofert. This is a Pro versus Pro-Am battle as they run down the straight. There's another battle a little bit further up in front. I think that's for the final spot on the podium. It is, as Talianos tries the outside. He's going to try and hold on. A little bit of contact as they'll still run. Nope, not side by side, as Talianos can't get that done. And he's under pressure from Rybatsky behind on those medium tires. Can probably get them up to temperature quicker as well as he tries going around the outside, and I think he's going to make the move. They'll still be side by side into this fast right-hander, but there's no way to hang on the outside. Another position lost for Talianos from 2nd all the way down to 5th. Now he's got Gavars behind him, who might be thinking of making a move as well. Getting closer and closer through the double right-hander. Can he go down the inside here? Thinks of it. Can't do it just yet.
Ooh.
Very wide from Rybatsky in front. Makes a mistake, and this is going to be a chance for Talianos to come back at him. He's going to try and go to the outside. Will he have enough overspeed? A little bit of contact as they go side by side. Now into this chicane, it should be flat out. Even if you are on the outside, it is. They're still side by side. This is opportunity for Gavars, who had the good run from the chicane. He's going to try and get the perfect line through the final turn. Thought he had contact, but that was just the car twitching. Talianos gets the position, but now he's going to be under pressure. Big pressure in front, as well as Pugliatti goes to battle Bernini, as these 3 are side by side. 3 wide coming down into turn 1. And actually, this is not great news for Talianos, who has to back out of it. Big swipe on his front end from Rybatsky, who is back up to P4. Now Gavars is going to try and go around him. Rybatsky putting in a very, very big defense here. We've lost Jofert. He's down to 18th. Sobek now the highest, well, the second highest running Pro-Am. As Gavars still trying to make a move, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It looks like Rybatsky has got the legs on him, especially on those quicker medium tires, but we'll see when that tire drop-off comes into play as well.
If it comes, the drivers have to make 1 pit stop, so it needs to last at least 12 or 13 minutes, so maybe they will be okay till they drop, but he'll lose out a lot on the pit lane because he'll need to change those tires. He'll definitely add a little bit more fuel in it, so his car should be lighter at this stage of the race. At least if you choose the strategy of changing your tires, you need to be much faster on the racetrack than your rivals. If you want a better result, you have a faster car, so you need to perform in that manner because your pit stop will be longer. O'Brien is already catching up. Oh, and Rybatsky straight into the pit lane. Maybe could it been a wrong strategy or something? It's a very early pit stop, so he'll be putting on hard tires, I believe. Well, to my understanding, Very interesting strategy indeed. 5 minutes into the race, already into the pit lane. Italiano's back on Gavars. That's what nice racing action you get on a circuit like Mugello. It has that long 1 kilometer, 100 meters long main straight, and in these Formula 4 cars you have a very nice slipstream running down that straight. You'll always get a chance into turn 1 if you manage to get a very good exit from the final corner, which is a mid-speed corner. And in these, well, low aero cars, but still aero cars, you have to nail it. Maybe change your line through that corner to have as much front as you can to have a run on your rival down that straight. And it's what Italianos and Gavras managed to achieve. Now in front we have two M drivers, which we were talking about. They were the fastest drivers in the pre-qualifying session. They were the fastest drivers in the practice session. Gamberini was the fastest driver in the qualifying session. Now both of them, well, until now they dominate this race. Gamberini pulled out a 1.5 second gap against his fellow racer Pugliatti. Bernini tries to hang on Pugliatti, but this is M drivers versus Pro Plus drivers. That's how the system recognizes. Well, if you are new to the system, nobody knows how fast you can go. Italianos into the pit lane. Interesting strategy this evening by the drivers as Gamberini pulls out the fastest lap time, which is only 1 minute and 46. That's 1 second slower than it was in the qualifying session. The cars are heavy, tires are hard, and it's definitely slower around the racetrack. Interesting to see Italianos diving into the pit lane so early. Maybe he wants to back out of that battle, but he'll be greeted with a much bigger battle when he returns to the racetrack. Look at the grid. He'll drop out. I wonder where he'll get out from the pit lane. If it's only a splash and dash, there you go. He's exiting the pit lane. P17 right into the midfield. Even a little bit lower. He'll have a lot of cars to overtake now. Interesting strategy. I don't get it. Sometimes I don't understand the strategies that the drivers... Oh, Pugliatti down into P7.
Ooh. Big slide. Something's wrong.
He had a crash.
I saw him. I saw a car off the road. I didn't know who it was. I guess that was Pugliatti. And, well, he's going to have to come into the pits probably because he'll have that damage to get fixed. But an interesting strategy from Italianos for sure. You could say it would make sense if he could get out into clean air. He's got one more car to overtake, then it's I think 55 seconds to the next one. Then it's another gaggle of cars. It's not like he's rejoining into completely free air. P22 Rybatsky as well, he didn't rejoin into clean air. No, strange choices. The only explanation I have for this is that if the drivers forgot to put fuel back into the car after qualifying.
Yep. I thought so about Rybatsky.
Two from the top 5? Really?
Yep.
I don't believe that.
If you look at this statistics of last race, the first race of this championship, most of the drivers that were on the splash and dash strategy, they basically held on almost to the finish of the race, meaning that Italianos will have to make a lot of overtakes on the racetrack, which is not only slowing down the driver, but it puts him into risk. You are faster, you want to advance through the field, so sometimes you might take higher risks, and well, Mugello racetrack doesn't have a lot of spots for safe overtaking, a lot of fast sweeping corners, and well, when you have that speed advantage, sometimes you can take those risks into the corners, which, well, might result in a crash. I wonder what happened to Pugliatti. He was 1.5 seconds behind Gamberini and, well, almost 1.5 seconds ahead of Bernini. So it definitely should have been a mistake on his own, because his car is definitely damaged, though he's still I think he's still pretty fast. Well, yep, his last lap was 2 minutes 1 second, so he lost he lost about 15 seconds per lap. 45.8 fastest laps coming in from our race leader. Another car into the pit lane. One of that's SP, one of the leaders in this race. At least from the top 10 drivers. So, well, 11 minutes into the race, okay, about mid. I think he also started on medium, so this might be the good strategy for the drivers that started on mediums. You usually want to do a 50-50 or so distance before heading into the pit lane, just to have the lighter car and have the ability to use all the advantage of the softer tire without having to spare it, while he's leaving a slightly longer distance for his final part of the race, which usually you'd like to have the faster car towards the end of the race.
I mean, the only reason to really do it is that if you're sure you can get out, not into traffic. If you get out of traffic, that's, well, a good reason to do it. For these guys, I didn't see any of them get out of traffic. I saw all of them get into traffic. So interesting choices, that's for sure. We'll see, maybe we're wrong and maybe this will pay off.
Well, Talianos is currently 14th already and in clean air, at least for now. He has 3.5 seconds still of a nice gap, but then there's a small gaggle of cars that are battling with each other. That's Sarma with a very nice front wing, also a little bit of a damage for the Formula car.
I mean, any overtake you make here is still going to cost you time. It's not going to be free, so interesting. Especially as Talianos, well, I would have thought he wanted to fight with at least Bernini in front.
Well, good news for him. He's now up to 13th. Another car went straight into the pit lane, so only a couple of cars are in front of Talianos. Eckley just received a 10 seconds stop-and-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which basically is the final result for this race. It's not going to be the best one. We'll see how it pans out for Talianos. Remember, he started this race from second. He dropped down to 4th, then he dropped even further. So I think that kind of escalated the earlier pit stop for Talianos. Maybe the driver just decided to reset himself, try to get some, well, free air or maybe slower drivers, just bring up that motivation. Maybe something with mind games for Talianos with that early pit stop, but at this moment it doesn't seem too bad. He's gaining quite fast on the cars in front. Another car has joined the grid. It was 2 cars, now it's almost 3 cars ahead of Talianos. He'll have a lot of things to do here. Oh, another car off the racetrack, and it's B13. So what happened? That's Santonicola, Pro Plus driver, all out of the race. No, he got moving, so maybe had to restart the car or something similar. O'Brien into the pits. All the drivers in the top 10 that were in top 10 after those few pitted were on hard tires, which should indicate that the drivers are on the splash and dash strategy. They don't need to change the tires, but still, well, they stop a bit earlier than one would expect. We have a very nice example from 2 weeks ago at Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Gavars, he made that splash and dash strategy at that time, and he did it towards the very end of the race. So basically held on on the racetrack, held on to the lead, made that pit stop with let's say with 1 or 2 laps to go, and it paid out beautifully.
Yep, he was able to rejoin into a clean track. it didn't work for Mendeles, who did a tire change, but then got caught up in battles as he had to make his way through the field, and actually had to battle Talianos, who came out on used tires, but was actually quick enough to battle him. That was a very interesting thing to see. Well, that was Spa. This is Mugello, and Gambarini down into the pits, so makes it in the middle of the stint. Now, for him, I guess the only reason to do that would have been because there is traffic in front. And that is lap traffic. He probably wanted to get out of that. That one I do understand. Let's see if his rivals follow him. Gambarini in P6 now. Is going to drop behind Nikkanen, but will not lose the position to Niskanen, and has really just that one car to get through. But in any case, he had a big enough gap where he was calm in front. Where is Talianos?
Yep, oh, he's 12th, he's now 11th. Well, he's battling for... No, he's battling for 12th, actually.
He's about 25 seconds behind Gambarini.
Let's find this out. He's 47 seconds behind Bernini, and he's 30 seconds behind Gambarini. 30 seconds. That is your different strategy. Oh, and Talianos has a broken wing. So
maybe that's why there's extra time, because I couldn't believe the gap was that big. But this, well, 2-minute last lap round, so definitely happened on the last lap. And well, we don't know if he did it himself or was involved in something, but that's the risk you have when you have to get through traffic. For Gambarini, this is, well, would be one of the only moves he needs to make. Pugliatti
isn't this
in the pits.
Oh yeah, he had a crash. I thought, okay, he had a crash. I almost thought that's his second pit stop, but no, he did have a crash, not a pit stop. And that's Gambarini up into P4. Until now, it looks...
didn't put up a fight, and that was the smart thing to do here.
Nikkanen still needs to make a pit stop. Gambarini already completed his mandatory stop. No need to battle here. That's not your race. Pugliatti out from the pit lane, still 10th. He had that crash. Well, okay, Talianos also had a crash and lost about 13 seconds. So he lost pretty similar amount of time that Pugliatti has lost in his lap when he crashed. And still, Pugliatti is in front of Talianos, but just about 2 seconds, which is not too bad for Talianos. And, oh, Pugliatti actually lost out to Jofer. This is a battle between Pro-Am and M cars. I think you could say this is a battle between Pro-Am and Pro-Am car, probably. Pugliatti, well, he doesn't show the performance or the pace that he can show or demonstrate on this circuit. He has a damaged car. He battles now Talianos, who also has a damaged car. Both cars collide and produce even more damage between themselves. Not our cleanest battle, thanks, says Jofer. Talianos late braking, nice maneuver by our third-placed driver in the championship standings. Still side by side, but Talianos managed to pull out that move. Still not fully completed. Side by side, Pugliatti will try to hold on to that wider line, and he'll try to use the straight now for his own advantage. By the looks of it, even though both of the cars look similarly damaged as more cars enter the pit lane, I think Pugliatti doesn't have the top speed advantage, though he does. The slipstream works beautiful.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's gonna stand. He did make that move off the track. Cross the white line. And that's not the pit exit white line. That actually denotes the edge of the track. Makes the move. It's a long straightaway. One of the highest top speed is maybe even is here in Mugello. So it is a long straightaway, even if it's not that straight at the end of it. Here's Bernini.
Yep, so Bernini was running second before the pit stops took place. He's now back behind Gambarini, and he's about, 5 seconds behind Gambarini, so...
I think he's stayed in pretty much where he was, maybe lost a bit of time, but that's how he was losing time anyway. 2 cars ahead of him have not been to the pits. I guess they'll be pushing it to the very, very end of the race as they don't pit again. Let's see if Bernini's got the legs here down the straight. I don't think Niskanen will put up too much of a fight. This move's fine. He kept 2 wheels on track, and he'll make that move easily. No fight from the Finn. That's the smart thing to do. Niskanen really, I would say he leads AM. Even if the overall race leader, or at least soon-to-be race leader, is an AM car, I don't see them staying an AM car for long, so I think this is the actual AM car that leads. And looking at how far up the grid he is, I'm not sure he'll stay an AM very long either. Here's Talianos, and well, he's had a shocker here with that early pit stop. He put himself into trouble, had some trouble. Again, don't know how that trouble happened. He's got Pugliatti in front of him. Jofert, I think Jofert's pitted.
I think so. I think he did a pit stop.
Because he lost a lot on lap 2. And he dropped way back. So either he had a crash or he went into the pits. But went into the pits super duper early. Could be a choice if he wanted to get out of traffic. Asp into the pits.
And Niskanen also into the pits.
That leaves only Gavars, who runs at the top. Well, Niskanen as well, but Gavars is the last one we still expect a pit stop from. Question is, where will he come out?
I think he should come out in P3, which... Yep, he was running behind Bernini before the pit stops. He's 18 seconds in front. That might be close. That might bring him close to Bernini when he finishes his pit stop. He should stay out on the racetrack for at least 1 more lap. If we remember his last week's strategy. To my understanding, this is a very wise thing to do, though, well, he's kind of running into traffic, but maybe he still has that 1 lap possibility, and, well, if you can extend your stint to the most possible time, I think that gives you the best strategy overall on the racetrack, and he stays out. He might run into traffic towards the end of this lap, but then he'll have the opportunity to head straight into the pit lane, and he should be back on the racetrack behind Bernini or even behind Niskanen if Niskanen stays out. You have to make your pit stop with 1 minute on the clock of race time still remaining, otherwise you'll be disqualified. So regarding the time, he still has a couple of laps to fit in within the rules. But that traffic, it might change the strategy slightly for this driver, as Niskanen pitted already on this lap. And that's gonna bring...
I think for Gavars that it has to be in this lap. I don't think he wants to approach that traffic. That's not going to be traffic that's easy to get through either. It's all going to be traffic that's battling each other. That's the worst kind of traffic you can approach, because they're not going to want to give up those positions, or at least not going to give up easily. Joffert in P10.
Yep, so he lost out to Poliati and Talianos. He was in front by about 1 second, and it looked like he's pulling off a gap. He now finds himself behind Poliati and Talianos. Maybe he did a mistake, or maybe that's the pace that the Pro-Am driver has. He's running in his own league. He's currently second in his class, not too far behind from Nikkanen, who's currently leading the Pro-Am category. As Gavars, yep, he's running straight into the pit lane, not to run into the back markers. And that's Bernini, the car of Bernini. I think he'll end up in front of Gavars, who has yet to make that stop. Our championship leader pulling to a halt and adding 1 liter of fuel. That's a very short stop.
Gonna be close. No, not as close as I thought. But the car was a bit further away. It's still relatively close, but coming out of the pits, obviously you don't have that much speed. You'd have to find some kind of magic here. Well, qualifying P5 was down to 6th for a moment, but back up to P3, and the championship leader will extend. Well, his closest rival was Mendeles, who's not here today. Then it was Talianos, who's running all the way down in 9th, and see where, well, would be 6th, I guess, if Gamberini goes to Pro Plus, and would be 7th if Pugliatti goes to Pro Plus as well. Pugliatti, well, damage. That was his problem here. Oh. But now Talianos might have an offer.
That's traffic. Yep, that's traffic. Yep.
I was looking at the gap, and I saw it at 0.7. I thought that's much closer than 0.7.
Oh, and that's unlucky for Talianos. Pugliatti managed to overtake that car ahead, as he's now pulling out a move. That's Sarma, and oh, was that Talianos who locked up? And it's definitely unlucky for Talianos. Pugliatti managed to overtake Niskanen, and I think it was Niskanen. No, it was Niskanen who made a mistake. We've seen a car locking up, and I think he just went in a little bit too fast into the corner, let Pugliatti through, so Pugliatti is up into P2 in the M category as we have started our final lap of the race. This is Niskanen trying to hold on to Talianos, but looking at the pace of Pugliatti and Gamberini, I'm pretty sure Gamberini will get promoted to the Pro Plus class straight away. I'm not sure about Pugliatti. He was definitely faster at the beginning of the race, made that mistake, and now you kind of cannot see his pure performance. But I think he's still gonna be upgraded to at least the Pro M class, which basically leads Niskanen as the M class leader this evening, which he should try to hold on to. He's now behind Talianos. Talianos with the damage, sometimes running a little bit slower through corners. I'm pretty sure it's much harder to hit those apexes with a damaged car like this, but Talianos and also Pugliatti, both of them doing a very great job, still running in P10 in the top 10 places with those damaged cars, just showing why they have those well, at least Talianos has the Pro Plus category by his name, as Gamberini approaches the final corner to take the checkered flag in round 2 of the World Sim Series Formula 4 Championship. A rookie came into the second race just to dominate the field as he takes the checkered flag and wins the second round.
Up ahead of Bernini and Gavars, who extends his lead in the championship ahead of his two closest rivals. But yep, a rookie came in. Clearly, he's got the credentials to be a Pro Plus car here, and I'm sure we'll see him in that category for the next race as everybody continues to take the checkered flag. Here's Santo Nicola, and we'll get our results in soon. Still timing screen going a little bit crazy for now. Again, results are provisional. Have to remember that as well.
Well, at least we've seen one move with our ice, which was, at least it began with an off-track on that painted area on the main straight. I wonder how the stewards will look at it, if they will look at it.
Again, we're looking at the standings, so here we are. It's Gamberini at the top, ahead of Bernini, Gavars, O'Brien, Asp. That is your top 5. Winner in Pro-Am is Nikkanen ahead of another Am car of Pugliatti. Pro-Am P2 is Jofert, and P3 goes to Rybatsky. Remember, he was so good at the start, but half a minute down on the lead of Pro-Am, so I think with him it was definitely a mistake that he made, probably with the fuel, because it took a very, very long time for him to get back out. In Am, it was Gamberini ahead of Pugliatti, but we suspect there might be a change in category for them. Niskanen finished in P3, and ahead of Oshunas, and Pettersson finished 5th in Am, 17th overall. Those are your results, and in 2 weeks' time, we'll be back for the World Sim Series F4 Championship from Imola. So we stay in Italy. And if you want to join the championship, head on over to worldsimseries.com and join for free.